Hello, everyone. We are live today, and I am with Sade, who has done something quite amazing during this whole lockdown period. And remember that these periods, what I'm doing, okay. What I'm doing now with these opportunities is I want people to see how others have prospered during such a difficult and challenging time. So in just a second here, I'm going to allow Sade to tell us her story because it's really quite amazing. And I just want people to get and get like inspired by what she was capable of doing during this time. So remember, this is an astrology channel. Yes, we know it's an astrology channel. I call my rising stars those who have taken this difficult period and turned it around into something that was a positive. And I chose people amongst the write-ins that I saw on my YouTube channel according to who I thought really did what they needed to do to change, make this into an opportunity instead of a challenging, difficult situation. So, okay. So I think that was a positive. And I chose people amongst the write-ins that I saw on my YouTube channel. You see them according to who I thought really did what they needed to do to change, make this. All right, so I'm hearing myself again. I hope that nobody else can. Okay, are we good? All right, we're good. Now, it's not here on my are you hearing everything over a second time? Are you hearing me? Hear me right? Did what they needed to do to change, make this. All right. Okay. Are you here? Do you have your
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Mute the YouTube right now. Okay. Are you hearing
Can you hear me?
Now I can hear you. Now it's good. All right. Because
okay.
Yeah, perfect. Good. Well, we are here. Let me introduce Sade Bell, who has taken a business to the next level by really digging in and figuring out what she needed to do to really change her business into something that's prosperous, because you're a hairdresser, right? And oh my God, hairdressers, people that work with hair have had probably the most difficult time during this COVID lockdown period. I mean, what do? You can't service your clientele. All of a sudden, you know, the doors are closed and you had to come up with a way to be creative to transform your business into something that was productive and actually became a great advantage. So I want you to really tell the world how you were able to make this great adaptation during this COVID period and this lockdown, which was not easy for you, I know. But I want to say something before we get going here, that this is the rising star. You know, we're an astrology channel. So I want people, what I'm all about, remember this, what I'm all about is to empower people to be the best they can be. That's what I use astrology for. So I thought I might have this little series where we could see how other people have taken their lives in a new direction. And I'm also going to take just a moment to look at Sade's chart to figure out what and why and what's coming up for her in the future. But before I go there and do all of that, I want Sade to introduce herself, tell everyone what her life's about and how you got into the business you're in. Tell us your story. What is your life all about with all of this?
Well, Honestly, in the hair industry, I'm really kind of deep rooted into it. My grandmother, well, my great grandmother, she was the hairstylist of her hometown. Then I have an aunt who has a hair loss clinic located in Atlanta. So I've always been in the industry. So I'm kind of just already deep rooted into it. And every time the economy changes, we always take a hit. So that's why us as being a stylist, we have to have other avenues and find other things to do when the economy does mess up. That's one thing that I learned from being in the salon for so long. Yeah, so with that being said, I've been a hairstylist for maybe 12 years. I've worked with my aunt for many, many, many years who really taught me the game, taught me everything that I needed to know inside and out. And after I branched off from her, I decided to do my own thing as like a traveling stylist. That's how I ended up in Houston, Texas. And I built up a nice clientele to the point where I was able to go back and forth. And making wigs was really just a hobby for me. It was just something that I would do because it was just therapeutic, something I would do when I'm by myself. But what really sparked me to really push it more was women, we have a lot of issues with our hair due to hormones, medication, stress, and all of that. So working in a hair loss clinic, it's a lot of women who are losing their hair. But as we come up with solutions, we wanted to give them something nice to where they don't have to walk out of the salon with their hair not looking the way they like it. So I started implementing the option of wigs, and I started offering the option for wigs to my clients who could not come into the salon regularly. I would design wigs for them to match how they would naturally wear their hair, so people wouldn't even know that it was a wig. So that's how I kind of got started with that. So when the pandemic hit, it was kind of like I really didn't miss a beat because they knew who to call. They knew to call Sade. She had the wigs, for the Zoom meetings, TikTok, for whatever it was. So what I did was first I started out with a few of my regulars because I was already, Joni?
You're good.
We here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. A few of my regulars, they was calling me. They was going crazy. They didn't know what they was gonna do about their hair appointments. They had stuff booked. Let me tell you something. You know how we are about our hair. They did not care. They did not care. So my regulars, I'm like, hey, go ahead and bring me your wig. I'll go ahead and maintain it, and you can go ahead and go about your business. So when I started promoting it, more people has been inquiring about it. So let's say 2016 was really when I started trying to push my wigs. This was the year that it really made an impact that I was looking for. It really made the impact that I was looking for to really do what it is that I wanted to do when it comes to making wigs. I don't just make wigs for, I really make the wigs for everyday women so they don't feel like they have to walk out of the house looking a hot mess. There's no reason for us to walk out the house looking a hot mess when you can just throw on one of my cute, fabulous wigs and keep it going.
Wow. So you do all these by hand. It must be really time consuming, right? Each one of them?
To be honest, no, not really. My grandmother, I already learned how to stitch and sew from my grandmother as a young girl. So wow. Measuring stuff that came natural. So no, it really wasn't. It's really not that time consuming for me. But I do take the extra initiative to make sure I get it right. That's one thing I am. I am a perfectionist when it comes to my wigs. I'm very critical.
I saw that by your moon. Your moon in Vedic astrology is in in Virgo, which is such a perfectionist. I couldn't believe it when I saw that. I thought, if there's going to be a wig that's perfect, it's going to come from you because of your moon in Virgo. We'll talk about that in a minute. But I was thinking today before interviewing you, I was thinking just how important, seriously, this is serious, how important hair is to us. Because I was thinking about my entire life, I've always had long blonde hair. And it's like, You know, that's my identity. Ever since I was a kid, I had a long ponytail down to my waist, and I always remember, you know, like when I went to college even, I was always kind of known for my hair. So everyone would always say, "Oh, you look just like Farrah Fawcett," because I went to UT in Austin where Farrah Fawcett went to school, and there was actually some teachers from my art department that knew her, and they're like, "You look just like Farrah Fawcett." And it wasn't that I looked just like her, it was my hairdo looked just like her. And then I'll tell you something else, how it defined my life, because I started as a flight attendant when I graduated from college. And the only reason why I went with Southwest Airlines was because I didn't have to cut my hair. I mean, think about it. That was like the defining moment that made me decide which airline to go to. Because back in the day, people don't know that flight attendants or stewardesses used to have to cut their hair in a bob really short because they serve food. And Southwest Airlines was the only airline that didn't serve food, so we didn't have to cut our hair. Well, that was the airline I chose to go with just because of that. And it was such a small airline just in Texas at the time I went with them. But that was the defining moment. And let me tell you, it was the best move I ever made, because most of the other airlines went out of business, and this one was like grew to one of the biggest airlines in the world. But it was all because of hair. And all of us know that if our hair doesn't look good, we don't feel good. It's a bad day. So you are doing a great service that really gives people their sense of confidence and for me, who they are. This is so important. That's why I thought I wanted to bring you on. This is people, you know, don't really, I mean, everyone, we consider having a good day, on at least some of us do, as to how our hair looks. So I just wanted
to I know
how important hair is. People may not take this as seriously, but it is really, you know, something we think about. And let me just say this, it takes me forever to get going with my YouTubes, because I'm not one of the guy astrologers who just get on, you know, on the camera. I have to fix my hair. It's a discipline, isn't it? So anyway, I thought I might just throw some of my thoughts out there that I was thinking about. But tell me a little bit, what makes your business different than others? What makes it so interesting to you, and how you've converted and changed your business since the lockdown?
What made it different? I was able to provide pickup and drop off services. Like clients, they didn't have to leave their home. I would provide a wig head for them to place their wigs on. And that's how we did our transactions. Even if we met up in the parking lots, that's what I was able to do. You know, I still do that. Now I have, and to be honest, what really made me focus in on it was because of my clients that were doctors. And they was working those hours and they just could not get in. They could not get in. So that's why I really decided to do the pick up and drop off. It was mainly for them, you know, for them to be able to have them a fresh style, you know, from when they was off. So, because a lot of them still had to deal with their kids was graduating, you know, people were still having weddings, you know, stuff like that. So even though they wasn't able to get into the salon, I still was able to, you know, bring the service to them almost.
Right. That's just really amazing, because I mean, this is a service that people needed during this lockdown. You became very creative during this lockdown. So one thing I do want you to explain to people, because this whole series I'm doing is to inspire other people when they feel like, you know, the chips are down and they can't make it, how to get creative. So tell me what you think you've learned from this experience and what advice you can give to others about your experience.
Ooh. Well, I learned that sudden changes is just a part of life.
Yeah.
And my advice is to, you know, find your own divinity, you know, connect with your, you know, source. Trust that, listen to it.
Right.
My guys told me to keep going when everybody else was looking at me crazy. You know,
Yeah.
I have to provide. I have to provide, you know, and I couldn't let fear get in the way of that. You know what I'm saying? So I felt like as long as I was doing and following the guidelines, I was okay. But you can't be afraid to try. You know, you can't be afraid to fail. You know, you just gotta trust and know and you know, just move forward.
I get it. Yeah. So, so tell me a little bit about your history, your family. Where you have a son. Tell us a little bit about all that.
Oh man, yes. My son. Okay, let me tell you guys something that's so significant about this. And you touched on that. 18 and a half years ago, I was pregnant with my son in high school during 9/11. So my son is a 9/11 baby.
Wow.
He had to live, he was born after, you know, the pandemic time, and he had to live through one, you know, and him wanting to go ahead and graduate, do whatever he needed to do, I just went ahead and, you know, followed whatever he wanted to do. You know, everybody was afraid. He wasn't. So I wasn't afraid either. But he wanted to march. It meant something to us as a family. You know, my grandmother, she was the first one to go to college in our family, and we always push education. We always push education and entrepreneurship. So he wanted to do that, and he did. You know, my grandmother passed in 2016, and you know, I know that was something that she would always have wanted to been there to see. So I'm glad that he decided to do that.
Wow. Well, well, I was so excited when you said you were going to his graduation. I thought that was so exciting. Even though the pandemic and everything was in full force, you said, I'm going to be there for him because this is the most important thing. And yeah.
That's my baby. Listen, hey, it's been me and him. It's been me and him. And we always, hey, we only had each other. We've been through a lot of changes, sudden changes together. So it was only right.
Well, I'm guarantee you with that attitude, he's going to grow up to be something really special and you know it. Yeah, I know that. So you know what? I'm going to give you a minute to look over your chart to see where you're going because hey, that's what I do. I'm an astrologer. So so remember though, what I do is Vedic astrology. So it's a little different than Western astrology. So if you got your ideas set, have you ever seen your Vedic chart before? Your sidereal Vedic?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Well, remember that things are a little bit different than Western astrology. So, so you have the kind of chart that when it rains, it pours. Do you know what I mean by that? When it's good, it's really good. But when it's bad, it's really bad. And I say that because you have so many planets all grouped together in one area. You've got, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 planets in the sign of Scorpio. Now, I know you probably think your sun is in Sagittarius from Western astrology, but it all falls back to Scorpio in the Vedic chart. Your sun is actually in Scorpio, and it is right there conjunct Uranus, which means you are rebellious, you're a fighter, you're never going to conform to tradition, you're going to do something different and be the first to do something yourself. And you know what else I see is a lot of foreign travel. You're going to be traveling a lot to many places in the future because a lot of these planets are associated with the 12th house of foreign lands. But I'm also seeing that, you know, with all these planets in Scorpio, you are so passionate about whatever you do. Scorpio's about emotion and passion, and that's who you are. But you're never going to conform to the likes of society that's going to be conservative. You're always going to do what's different, what's unique, what's new. And, you know, you have Neptune right on your ascendant. Neptune on the ascendant means you photograph beautifully, and there's something about cameras and photography and film and movies that you're supposed to be into. Have you ever had any interest in doing any film photography? Maybe even the work you do, you should be.
Oh yeah, I've done. I actually prefer to do as I was traveling. That's what I was doing. I was styling clients for TV. They had videos, video shoots, photo shoots coming up. Yeah, that's definitely my thing. I prefer to do those.
Well, you're going to be doing more of that. As a matter of fact, I think you're going to be being more in front of the camera than you've been behind the camera with some.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Well, look, this is a start. You're there. Uh-oh, I just lost your I lost your picture. Are you there? Sade? Uh-oh, I've lost her. You have to come back on. I think you just somehow, I started talking about being in front of the camera and I lost her. I think she's afraid of the camera. But let's hold on a second and wait for her return here. So, okay. Is there weather going on? Okay, here she comes again. Okay, hold on. There you are. We lost you for a minute. You got scared of the camera. Can you hear us? Sade, are you there? I see you, but I don't hear you. I see your name, but I don't see, anyway. Okay, are you there? Okay, I think you're muted somehow, some way. We can see you, but we can't hear you. Click on the icon for the microphone. Do you see that? Are you there? Okay. And also going to take just a moment to look at Sade's chart. I think you've got your YouTube on now again.
Okay, I had to see where we was at. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but you're yeah, I can hear you. It's a little lag time, but
now.
But here's what I want to do now. I just want you to go ahead and tell us about how we can contact you to learn more about the services that you provide, that you just, really up the ammunition during this COVID time. Tell us a little bit about where you are, how to get in touch with you, and learn more about you. Go ahead.
Well, I'm in Houston, Texas. The name of the boutique is going to be Poiz Hair Boutique. And everything is in the works now. Everything is finally in the works to where I got the location. So you guys can contact me at poiz_hairboutique on IG, or email me poizhairboutique@gmail.com.
Good. All right. So I know if we are looking to have our hair done and have our hair fixed, whatever, during these crazy times, you're going to know who to go to. One more thing, I wanted to give you a prediction of a time from your chart, because there is a time that's coming up that is fantastic for you, Sade, and that's going to be around December 20th. I don't know if the holidays are a big work time for you, but looks like your business is going to explode around December 20th, when the transit of Jupiter is going to be aspecting your moon, which you have a moon in Virgo in the 10th house. That means you're going to be well known for what you do. A moon in the 10th house is public attention. And I know you're going to be more on video. This was the first, and it's not the last that I see you coming back on video. And so get ready. I think you're going to be in demand for your services, and you're going to be very well known. Moon in the 10th house, well known for what you do. So anything you want to say as a closing, or anything to let anyone know about you, or anything that you're doing?
I just want to give thanks to all my clients who has stuck with me during all this time. I know you guys are watching, and I wanted to say thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for listening to my story and kind of just keeping up with everything I had going on. Thank you so much.
Yeah, well, you are an inspiration for others. Remember that anytime things get difficult, get tough, the tough get going, and that's it's always look. I always look at difficult times as an opportunity to improve and make ourselves better. Because difficult times are always that gift from the universe to change, and when we take that opportunity and we change with the direction and the course of events that the universe is guiding us through, that's when we will grow the most. And that's not only growth materially through financial gains, but also spiritually as well as emotionally. This is what it's all about. That's why we're here. We're all here to help one another, inspire each other to be the best that we can be. And I think Sade is a wonderful example of someone that never gives up and always makes the best of everything and is going to be incredibly successful through her spirit and attitude that she's taken on. And when times get tough, she's done it. You're an inspiration to us all today. So with that, are you ready to close? Are we good with everything? You didn't forget anything you wanted to say, did you?
No.
Good. Just double check. I want everyone to hear your story because I'm impressed and I'm really proud of people that can help others in trying times, which you most definitely have. So thank you so much for joining us on my channel and sharing your story. I appreciate you. Okay. All right. Namaste. Thank you.
Thank you.